Hey guys, how you going? So today on BK Sport, we're going to be talking about some Bledisloe Cup action. Obviously, the Bledisloe Cup got underway yesterday, and if you're not too sure what the Bledisloe Cup is, basically it's New Zealand and Australia hasn't won in about 20 damn well years. Yes, New South Wales fans out there, if you thought 8 years in a row was tough, well guess what? If you're a Wallabies fan, you got to experience both. And I can tell you right now that losing to New Zealand 19 years in a row in a 50-50 contest isn't fun. Double what you guys went through, and a bit more as well. But in saying that, guys, you know, I can't believe it. I'm proud, you know. I haven't been proud as a Wallabies fan for a very long time. You know, I've been so disillusioned with this organisation for over a decade, long time now. And alongside that, the whole country has been, you know. I personally believe that rugby union used to be #1 in the country, and obviously nowadays it's nowhere near. Like, I wouldn't even class it as a top 3 nowadays in Australia, which is ridiculous. And that shows how much the sport has gone downhill in Australia. And, you know, it's shown how much people don't believe, they don't trust, they don't want to watch something where they don't believe in the product that's getting put out there. But this video is actually going to be quite positive, because I can tell you right now, there are a lot of positives. There are also some negatives that we'll talk about, but there are a lot of positives that we're seeing from this team that will hopefully, if you haven't watched the Wallabies in a long time, or you don't watch rugby union, you can actually start to believe. You may be able to start believing in what's actually going on behind the scenes, and also the product that's getting put on the table for it. So let's talk about game 1 of 4 of the Bledisloe Cup for 2020. When was the last time you could say you're proud of the Wallabies? You know, actually, genuinely think to yourself right now, comment it in the chat below. When was the last time that you were genuinely proud of the Wallabies? You know, last year in the World Cup, I don't think we were necessarily bad. I don't think, we obviously got wiped the floor with by England, but in the same sense, I don't think overall, I don't think we had too bad of a competition. I don't think we had too bad of a World Cup. I feel like, yes, we got beaten by the better team in the end, but I think there was somewhat progress being made. It was still kind of dead though. It was still kind of very dull in a way, but I guess that's because of the overall thought process behind the organisation of, you know, Australian Rugby Union for the many years. I feel like there wasn't enough progress made, even though there was some progress made. But yes, obviously, like I said, we did get wiped the floor with by England. And as I mentioned before, I believe the last time we won the Bledisloe Cup was back in 2001, which was 19 years ago, which was like when I was 7 years old. So, you know, it's fair enough to be disillusioned with how this country is right now in regards to rugby union. But obviously, we drew 16-16 over in Wellington. Now, guys, the last time we won in Wellington was in 2000. 2000, I was 6 years old. And that's a long time. You know, that's a long time. And even though we didn't win this game, the fact of the matter is that we probably should have won this game. Well, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the fact that his foot went out. We all know his foot went out. We all know it's a bit of a bullshit decision, but, you know, it is what it is. That's sport. That's rugby, and there are bad calls made all the time across all sports. We know that. So I'm not going to be here talking about the refereeing, because I don't think the refereeing was necessarily too bad. I think that was obviously an absolutely horrendous call that even the Kiwis know was just absolutely despicable, but we're not going to be here complaining about that. These guys aren't exactly the All Blacks that we know them to be. You know, I feel like there's more going on to this. They obviously didn't play well, but in the same sense, they don't usually play well in the first and the last game of the season, but that's not the point, and we're not going to be talking about that. The point of the matter is what we saw wasn't great. The product that they put on the table was not great, especially considering they're at home. Like, when you're in Wellington or when you're at Eden Park, obviously, you know, you expect them to win. You expect them to win well as well. You know, Australia was paying 7-1 to come into this game, to win this game. The fact that there was a draw is just ludicrous, and on behalf of the Kiwi side, you'd be pretty, you've not disrespected, but you'd feel very, very disappointed that you couldn't get a win, considering it was at home in New Zealand in front of a packed out Wellington crowd. You know, that the advantage there is just incredible. The advantage there is incredible, and really they got out-dominated in every single stat, you know, whether it be possession, whether it be territory, whether it be, you know, meters made, you know, whether it be, well, it doesn't matter. The only thing that they won in really was the fact that firstly they didn't lose, and secondly, penalties. That was literally the only thing they won it. Like, I think Australia gave away 14-7 or something like that. But the thing is, along with this, you know, although All Blacks love to win, and everyone wants to win, the whole point of the competition is to win, the fact that Australia actually put something on the table that was actually quite quality and made a good game there, because that was a crazy game, incredible game. We live streamed on the channel, guys. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, because we're going to be streaming every single Bledisloe Cup game. You know, I feel like New Zealanders would be appreciative of the fact that it's not just a complete romp every single year now. You know, what we've seen from Australia is that they've actually come out here and given it a red-hot crack. You know, they've got a new coach, you know, they've got a new system. Obviously, ARU is currently going through an absolutely massive change behind the scenes right now. Obviously, we've seen something that is a lot more positive than recent years being thrown together. You know, there's a whole new look team. The tactics are completely changed. And although, another thing I want to say is, Michael Cheika, the previous coach of the Wallabies before Rennie's come in, he actually got a win in his first game in the Bledisloe Cup against New Zealand as well, and we all know how that went. So you do have to kind of weigh in the fact that this has only been one game. Like I said, last time we won was in 2000, and realistically, probably we should have won. You know, we had the penalty from outside 50, 55, which was a huge kick from Reece Hodge. I think that was clearing from 70, 65, 70 metres. That was huge. Hit the post, comes back in. You know, if you didn't watch the game, I'm not going to go and analyse the specifics of the game, but you know, we had a lot of opportunities to win that game. So did New Zealand, and this is why I say, you know, both teams should feel unlucky and both teams should feel lucky. New Zealand should feel lucky they didn't lose, but also Australia should feel lucky they didn't lose. Because even though Australia, when it came to the end, throughout that last final crazy 10 minutes from the 78th minute to the 89th minute or whatever it was, you know, Australia had all the opportunities to win that game, you know, through the penalty. When it came off the post, they grabbed it. Then why are you not setting up a field goal for James O'Connor? Now, James O'Connor was absolutely shocking in regards to kicking. Thought he had a pretty decent game in regards to his actual playmaking skills. But in regards to kicking, I'm sorry, I know Wellington's windy, but, you know, Reece Hodge kicked it from out to the left, 55 out, and only just hit the post. James O'Connor's kicking it from right in front, 43 out, and he's missing it completely. So, I'm sorry. I just feel like James O'Connor had an absolutely terrible night with the boot. However, I still feel like you need to set up a field goal in that situation. I don't understand why you need to go for the try. Just get the field goal, slot the game. And if you miss it, okay, cool, it's going to be a draw. At least you're not going to give them the opportunity to go up the other end of the field and not take a field goal opportunity themselves. Why did New Zealand not take a field goal opportunity themselves? Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why neither team took a field goal in that game. So when it came down to the clutch, Australia didn't know how to put in that killer blow. And that's the thing with New Zealand as well. They normally know how to do that killer blow. Well, then again, do they? Because usually they're up by a significant amount, so they haven't really had to do that killer blow against a team like Australia. But, you know, teams should know how to do that killer blow, but obviously neither team knew how to actually put it into play. Both teams were like 5 out, like right in front. Set up a field goal, mate. Like, you're 5 out in front. Set up a damn well field goal. The fact of the matter is, I personally believe the Wallabies are back. Do I believe that they are, you know, back like your George Gregan days? Not necessarily just yet, but there are signs to say that Rennie could be building something here that could be taking this to a new level and actually putting them into a place where they will be competitive again. I really appreciated Filippo Dungunu. Dungunu was incredible. He was absolutely incredible down that right wing. That was where they kept going down the attack, and they kept getting nice attacks down that wing. Everyone just put in, and we haven't seen this for a very long time. We haven't seen the entire team come together for a very long time. And that's why I feel like so many Australians are so appreciative right now, because even though we didn't win, it's a massive moral victory for the fact that we got a draw in a place we should have gotten absolutely walloped in. And the fact that every single player on that team actually gave it a red hot crack. It'll be an emotional time when we actually win that Bledisloe Cup back. Whether we win it again this year or not, you know, that's not the point. I really do feel like we can actually do it here. I really feel like this could be the year that we win the Bledisloe Cup back. The draw effectively makes this series, this 4-game series, a 3-game series, but in the same sense, it doesn't really matter necessarily too much, because either way, Australia needed to win at least, you know, Australia needed to prevent New Zealand from winning at least 2 games, right? So, obviously that's a draw. More than likely, they're going to win at Eden Park this weekend. You know, we haven't won there since 1986. That's 8 years before I was born. You know, so I've never, ever, ever seen Australia win at Eden Park. If we won it there, I think we win. But that place, it brings with it a mindset. You know, it is just a venue, but it brings with it a mindset. To make sure it's not a draw and New Zealand to retain the Bledisloe, which is what they did last year, by the way. It was 1-1. They're not actually current champions. They're just holding over it from 2 years ago because it was a draw last year. Just remember that, All Blacks fans. Just remember that. But to actually return the Bledisloe Cup to Australia, we would need to win our 2 home games. And we always, regardless, had to win our 2 home games. So, realistically, that's a massive win for Australia to prevent them from getting a win. You know, to prevent New Zealand from getting a win, that would have meant that we would have needed to win or draw at Eden Park, which is probably not going to happen. So it's a huge win, and people are like, oh no, a draw is not as good as a win. This draw is as good as a win now. This draw is as good as a win, because we've prevented them from being able to win back, well, maintain the Bledisloe for another year by winning this weekend. You know, it doesn't make any sense why you would think that that's not as much as a win as a win. So it's a huge win for Australia. It's a massive moral victory. And if, by some chance, the hoodoo gets broken and we do win it this weekend, then we've got 2 home games. We only need to win 1 of them. I'm feeling positive. I feel like Rennie is doing a great job already to start off, and just the way we actually played was incredible. So I feel like that's all I need to say, really. We'll come back next weekend, next week, to talk about what happens after game 2. Don't forget, guys, we are going to be streaming this weekend, or we live react to the game, and we talk to you guys in the chat. So like I said, subscribe. But it just feels good, man. Feels good that we might be able to put a winning product on the table. It's been a while. If we started to improve the quality of the organisation, whether it be from the grassroots or not, and we're not going to talk about that today. I've done that before. We might do a revamped one later on. But yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. I'm really positive, I'm really appreciative of how the Wallabies played, and proud of what we're doing right now. You know, proud of the ability that we might be bringing to the table. Now, if you guys want me to do something talking about the All Blacks and what I feel about the All Blacks right now, do hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see more of these more discussional. Is discussional a word? Discussional? Well, you know what I mean. If you want to see more of these discussion-based videos, then definitely, like I said, hit that thumbs up button and let me know in the comment section. And I'm looking forward to this weekend at Eden Park, where we're more than likely going to get a loss. But if we don't get a loss, then, buddy, let's go, baby. Sydney and Suncorp, woohoo! We are coming for you, son. But alright, guys, I'm going to jump off. Appreciate you as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.